What's going on, guys? Welcome back to episode 2 of the YZ125 engine rebuild. In the previous episode we put in the new crank, all the new bearings and seals, got the cases together, the transmissions all put together. So in this video what we're going to be focusing on is some of the exterior components like the flywheel and the generator, along with the clutch assembly, kickstart, water pump, things of that nature. So that's going to be episode 2. I want to thank you guys for watching, so we're going to get right back at it. Alright guys, now we're just going to install the primary drive gear into the end of the crank. There's a bushing that fits in around the seal here, so we're going to use a little bit of oil, and also some Loctite on the bolt. This gets torqued down to about 35 foot-pounds. And to hold this gear still while I'm torquing it, I'm just going to throw on the outer basket. Just throw on the clutch basket there. And now the gears are there. And I usually use the penny trick where I wedge a penny in between the gears so I can get my torque. There we go. So now we're just going to pop on the circlip on this transmission shaft where the Kickstart idler goes. There's 2 new circlips going on here. So the first one just slides in over like that. Then our Kickstart idler gear pops on there. Just going to put a little bit of oil on there. Then our washer goes installed, and our second circlip goes on. Alright guys, what we're going to be doing now is getting ready to install our clutch basket. We've got our kickstart assembly, we've got our shifting mechanism, and we've got our primary gear all torqued down. So everything's been Loctited, double checked, verified the shifting, everything is smooth. We've got a fresh power valve or governor shaft bearing here. So now we're ready to move on to the clutch basket. Alright, so we've got a fresh washer. These are the foldable ones, that locking washers for the hub nut. These are one-time use, so this is something to replace every time. We've got these tabs that just line up with the notches on the hub, and once that's in there, you can just screw your nut down, and we'll be ready to torque it with our torque wrench. We're also going to use the Tusk flywheel and clutch holding tool to hold this in place while we get our torques back. Alright, so I've got the holding tool all set up in place. I usually like to rest this against the bench or whatever. Holds it, prevents you from busting up your knuckles, and you also get a firm grip on your torque wrench. That's all is to it. By the way, the torque on this hub nut is 58 foot-pound. That's on the 2002 YZ125 nut. Alright, so we're ready to start dropping these clutch plates into the basket. And now that we've got our plates on, we can put the top of the clutch basket in. And just drop in all of our springs for now. Very good. Alright, now I'm just going to torque down these springs. There we go. Alright, so we're not going to put the outer case on the right side of the engine yet. I've just got the power valve one of the power valve bearings for the outer case cover, and one of the water pump bearing in the freezer to cool. So I've still got to put everything back together on that outer case before we can install that. So while we're waiting for those things to cool down, we're just going to install the stator and the flywheel and that stuff on the flywheel side of the engine. One thing I like to do is just put a little grease in this grommet, just so it seals up nice. There we go. And I almost forgot, I still have to install the woodruff key into the crank, so we get that in there too. A little grease just to help hold it in place. There it goes. This nut is a 14. And we'll come back and check the torque spec and crank that down. So this bolt is going to go to 40 foot-pounds. I'm using the flywheel clutch holder tool again. There it is. Alright, so I'm just heating up the outer clutch cover. Inner clutch cover, I guess. Outer right case cover. So I'm just heating it up to get ready to drop that bearing in. And probably gonna have to give it a little tap. Good to go. And move fast. That's her. So we've got our seal in there. Now we're just going to hammer in our bearing. There it is. Alright, so we've got both seals in and the bearing in. Now I'm just going to pass the water pump shaft through here. Like that. Sorry, that was kind of out of frame. Now we're all in, sealed up and ready to put on the impeller. Alright guys, so we're just getting ready to install the governor and the basically the heart of the power valve basically. So as you can see, this is the old arm for it. The previous owner welded it back together, which is not ideal, so we've got a brand new one we're going to slide in. So that should be nice and fresh for the bike. So we're just going to throw a little bit of grease on this. Perfect. And we've got a brand new a brand new seal in here for this. Comes with the bottom end kit, so we'll just pop this in here. And there it is. Alright, so now we're ready to install our governor. I've put the holding piece that bolts into the arm ahead of time, just to make it a little bit easier to go together. So we'll just slide this in here like that. That's lined up. Now we'll just get some thread locker on our bolts and pop those in. Alright guys, so I've got the gasket put on here. I put a little bit of grease around the gasket just to hold it in place and keep it nice and fresh. And also keep it from sticking in the future. And now we're just good to throw on our outer clutch cover case. And just to get things set in with the dowel pins, we're going to give it a little light tap. Alright guys, so we've got all the bolts in our outer clutch cover, or inner clutch cover, sorry. So now while we're at it, I figured it's a good time to just throw on our water pump housing. So I just threw a little grease on the gasket here. Don't forget to check for your dowel pins on your water pump housing and also for your clutch cover. Those will line everything up nice. And also the drain bolt with copper washer. Now we're ready to start tightening all these down. Alright guys, that's going to do it for episode 2. We've completed the entire bottom end. In the next episode, what we're going to be doing is actually getting this top end on. So for the third and final episode, you guys won't want to miss it. We're going to be doing the power valve assembly, the cylinder, the head, the reeds, all that good stuff. So thanks again for watching, and tune into the final episode.